So let me turn it the next couple slides over to my colleague Amanda. And Amanda, do you want to take over?
Yeah, thanks, John. So just a little housekeeping. We do have everyone on mute to keep background noise to a minimum. But if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, you can type your notes in the chat box. There's a little dialogue bubble there that should get you to the chat, and you can pose questions throughout the presentation. If someone in the chat box doesn't respond, we are keeping track of those questions. So we'll be addressing them at the end of the presentations in the Q&A. And then the other thing that we wanted to bring your attention to is that we're actually starting a learning network on this topic, writing better notes for patients. So if you're interested in joining a collaborative on strategizing how to do that better and thinking about practical ways to implement better strategies and best practices, get in touch. It's still in development and we're building that now. So you can send me an email. My email's on the screen, and just let me know that you're interested in being a part of that. John, did you want to speak to that a little bit as well?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, this is a topic we think there may be widespread interest in, and think that a 6 to 9 month effort involving folks who are especially interested in it could result in some interesting ideas and interesting strategies going forward. And we have funding to facilitate that kind of discussion, and so want to put this topic out and see how this audience responds. And if there's interest in doing something of that sort, we'll get back to you with specifics.
Yeah, so please email me, and this slide will appear at the end too with my email address. So please be in touch. And with that, we'll get started.
Well, so this has been a topic that I think intrigued us the whole time. As most of you know, our research did show that this is the workflow issue that is significant when in an OpenNotes implementation. About 15 to 20% of clinicians on average report that for at least a 4 to 6 week period of time, they need to adjust, make various adjustments in terms of documentation. In some places, this is more of an issue than others. In some places, they're very well prepared for this because they're aware of some of what you're going to hear today. And in other places, this is a struggle. So we're thrilled to be talking about this issue today. And we have 4 speakers, next slide, who have unique experience and advice for us. Our first speaker will be Jared Klein. Jared is at the University of Washington. I will forever be grateful to Jared for the paper he wrote in the American Journal of Medicine about tips for writing better notes. It's the publication I send out to implementers on a regular basis, and the publication that they seem to consistently appreciate. It's been very helpful to get folks to look at these issues and do things from the start at the implementation. The second speaker will be Leonor Fernandez. Leonor is from Beth Israel. She's a practicing internist, and her focus is on vulnerable populations, lower income, and non-English speaking folks, and she's going to talk to you about the research she and colleagues at OpenNotes have done around writing notes for that population. Our third speaker will be Jeremy Warner, who's an oncologist at Vanderbilt. And I think you're going to hear some very interesting information about the research in terms of communicating in an era of transparency, specialty information, and tricky information when it comes to cancer. And then Steve Dobshaw will be our final speaker. Steve and I go way back. Steve comes from Portland, Oregon, from the Portland VA, and he's been involved in and aware of and doing research on on OpenNotes since it was implemented at the VA in 2013. And he really has a complete and wonderful cycle of work. I think he has 9, maybe 10 publications out there that really go from, showing how nervous this transparency makes mental health clinicians to resolving that anxiety through some very interesting web-based courses he's developed. And part of that is giving them advice about writing better notes. So with that, let's go. And Jared, I think you're up first.